right off the bat. Volkan and Lionheart, to me, feels incredibly mysterious just because nothing really gives in one direction. You have a couple of guys that are both incredibly heavy-handed. You got a couple of guys that like to finish fights early. Volkan getting his nickname No Time off of that exact kind of stigma that he's carried with early knockout wins over Misha Cirkunov and Jimmy Manuwa on his record. However, you feel like with Anthony Smith, despite only this being his third fight in the light heavyweight division, Anthony Smith, has 43 professional fights in comparison to Oezdemir's 17, and Oezdemir has already tasted what it's like to, fight for a title, and I think you could maybe argue this is the biggest fight of Smith's career. Well, what do you think, man? I think that nothing's really giving me a clear-cut direction on who to go with as far as my personal pick for the winner between these two.
Sure. It's a great fight to headline the card, but it is a little mysterious considering how Anthony Smith is really a fresh face in the UFC light heavyweight division, and Volkan Oezdemir more or less is as well. I mean, he's come off that title loss at UFC 220 to Daniel Cormier, but that was only his fourth fight in the division. Love what Anthony Smith has done for his own career. I mean, taking himself to the light heavyweight division, seeing a shorter path to the top, knocking off the big names who aren't necessarily as dangerous as they used to be. Great from a career standpoint. Really smart, intelligent move by him and his management. He has that finishing ability. I love that he's working at Factory X, Mark Montoya, one of the most underrated gyms in the country. I'd say they should be considered for Gym of the Year behind Fortis MMA in Dallas.
Yep.
Oezdemir, like we said, coming off that loss, but has been absolutely itching to get back in there. Had a couple fights scratched for various reasons. He works down in Hard Knocks 365 with Henry Hooft. I'm excited to see Anthony Smith in some other matchups in the UFC light heavyweight division, but I just don't know if this is a favorable one for him. Volkan Oezdemir, heavy-handed, a true light heavyweight. I think he's going to get it done here. I'll go with the TKO late in the first round.
You're going Volkan.
Volkan, yeah.
Oh, Volkan. It's tough for me, man. I mean, before I kind of maybe give my winner on it, what would an emphatic stoppage do for a Volkan Oezdemir? You're sitting right up there at the number 2 light heavyweight in the world at the moment. You had the matchup with Alexander Gustafsson kind of fall through. We were told reasons that maybe I don't really per se believe. I'm not saying that Gustafsson faked an injury. I do think that the UFC did have bigger and better plans for him, though. But anyway, what would an emphatic stoppage kind of do for Volkan Oezdemir here? And same question for really Anthony Smith. We kind of know what it might do for Anthony Smith, take him right up there into that top 3 type of conversation. But Volkan Oezdemir, I mean, what kind of direction could the UFC go with him if he makes a statement here?
That's tough to tell because we do have that UFC light heavyweight title matchup coming up at the end of the year between John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson. You would think that a win here probably would put him in that number 1 contender spot with Alexander Gustafsson, but now that he's in the official title picture, it's a head scratcher. Not a lot of names come to mind when you think about potential guys that can fight for that number 1 contender spot. Dominic Reyes coming off a big win. There's one but who knows how quickly the UFC wants to rush him into such a high profile fight there. But I think an emphatic win here for Volkan sets him up for a number 1 contender spot. Whereas Anthony Smith, I think you put him in against another big time veteran. If Jimmy Manuwa is able to get his upcoming fight a victory in that one, maybe you match those two up. But man, the light heavyweight division, because it's so thin, you really never know.